they just strut. What the fuck? They know what is what, but they don't know what is what. They just strut. What the fuck?
Wow. Way back in 2003, I was a resident at God's Kitchen in Birmingham. There was myself, there was Paul Thomas, who's also on Toolroom, and then there was a lad called Mickey Slim, and the three of us used to do the back room there. It was just mainly sort of like DJing and spending the rest of my time in the studio. I've always been a fan of music, just in general. Like, both my granddad is a musician and my dad is a musician, not professionally, but it was like a heavy part of their life. So like I've always grown up with like musical instruments around me and stuff. But yeah, no, I mean, like, I never really thought I'd get into it. I thought I'd probably end up doing something like based around computers, because I was really, really interested in that. I started to notice my granddad's keyboard collection. He had some synthesizers and like an old Lowry organ with a rotary speaker and everything. And I started to spend every bit of free time that I had messing around with keyboards and messing around with synthesizers. And you know, before I knew it, I had started to write my own music. Then I remember like some of my friends had been to like, they'd been to a nightclub in Birmingham. And I mean, I'd been to nightclubs, but it was always like college parties and stuff like that. I'd never really experienced a proper sort of rave or anything. And I remember going out to my first nightclub, and that was it. I was just kind of like, this is the music that I want to make. This is everything. This is everything that I ever want to do. How I met Mark was like the weirdest thing. Obviously I was really into the label already by then, and I was producing music for two guys called the Trophy Twins, like engineering for them. And I guess like Mark heard the tracks, and you know, he was like, you know, who's this guy who's engineering these things? So he looked me up, and it turned out he was looking to do an EP for Ministry of Sound called Saturday Sessions. So he had a really short frame of time to do it, and most of the time when he was engineering stuff, it took him quite a while to get them finished, because he's like a real perfectionist, and you know, it'd take him a really long time to sort of get everything done, and he needed to get them done really quickly. So he called me up and asked me if I wouldn't mind helping him. And I was just like mind blown. So he said, you know, do you mind if I book a couple of days and come down and do something? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely, you know. So we organized the days, and he came down, and the track, the box, which was from the Saturday Sessions EP, was the outcome. I got to learn a hell of a lot about music and about how to put the music together, because like at the time I was just doing it, I was just guessing, like, you know, and they were good guesses. But then obviously when Mark came into the studio, it was kind of like, oh, so that's how you get that kind of thing, and that's how you would do that sort of thing. And the greatest thing about working with any producer is the exchange of ideas and being able to like learn from each other. And every time I do that, I feel like I grow massively as a producer. And I guess, you know, me and Mark it was just one of those things. Like we struck up a really good friendship. We struck up, you know, a really good working partnership. And I remember I was about to go out to do my first Miami to play at the Toolroom party in Miami. This was like 2008, and we sat down about 3 months beforehand, and we said we need to take something with us. Well, I've been like practicing playing again, because like I'd spent so much time programming over the past few years. I wanted to get back to like playing my keyboards and stuff, and I said I worked this out this morning, and I played. I called up the ES1 on Logic, and I just played the opening, the riff to "Man with the Red Face," and he's it's Lauren Garnier, and I was like, yeah, we should do like a cover version of it, like play all the parts. We'll get a saxophone player to come in. We'll get him to do it as well. I feel like the people who are going to Miami, like they'll really appreciate that. That's the sort of record that they really love. We got back from Miami, and we emailed Lauren Garnier, and we said, look, we've done this cover version of your record. We'd love to know what you think of it. Just give us some feedback. Let me know if you want to do anything with it. And he sent us an email back, and he said, I can't remember the exact words. I've actually still got the email flagged in my email history, so that I can just sort of like go back and remind myself every now and then of what a feeling it was. But like, the proudest moment was just when you get this email back from the person that writes the record, and he said, I played it at all my shows this weekend, and the reaction was huge. We have to do something with it. We have to put it out. And like, we kind of, turned around to each other and was like, well, if Lauren Garnier says that it's good enough to put out, we should put it out. There's been so much. Like, we went through a period of about 3 years where it just felt like everything that came my way, whether it was a remix or an idea for a track, just felt perfect. And I guess like over that sort of period, the Red Face, What the Fuck, Breakwater, Nobody Listens to Techno, like all through that kind of era was just an amazing time. And I don't think I'll sort of ever feel like that again. Because it was just a great time. But we always move onwards and upwards, and now like my main concern is just like making sure that each track that I do is like the best thing that I can possibly do. So musically, I've done a couple of records this year already which haven't been released, that I am really, really happy with. So I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. Like, I got into this to make music and to play music, and I'm not going to focus too much on the what's the end product. Like, hopefully there isn't going to be an end product. It's just going to be continuing music until until the end of time, until I draw my last breath. So yeah.